Hello my friends, and now let's start right away with the Kherson direction. There is shelling along the entire front line here. Yesterday, all Russian pages received orders from the Kremlin to say that everything is fine with them and there are no losses. So they all fell silent abruptly. From the Russian side, there is no information yet. But Ukrainian analysts report that they still have significant personnel problems. However, they are already attempting attacks to hinder the Ukrainian forces from expanding their footholds. On the internet, a video has surfaced reportedly showing residents of the temporarily occupied left bank of the Dnipro River in the Kherson region welcoming Ukrainian soldiers earlier this month. Overall, as seen on this front as well, the Russians are trying to counterattack quickly to avoid losing positions. They managed to bring reserves here rapidly. However, late yesterday evening, the Russians began claiming that a Ukrainian reconnaissance and sabotage group was allegedly spotted retreating from the Crimean titanium plant.
We have just received unverified information about the presence of an enemy reconnaissance and sabotage group, DRG, moving away from the Crimean Titan chemical plant towards the Kherson region. It is possible that the DRG has mined the plant. We advise residents of Armyansk and all nearby settlements to prepare for emergency evacuation. As we previously speculated on November 8, 2023, a sabotage operation may be carried out at the Crimean Titan plant, involving the detonation of tanks containing ammonia and sulfuric acid. The widespread contamination of the area could extend up to a radius of 5 kilometers. Given our data and information from war correspondents about the formation of a strike force in the area of the settlement Krinka, the sabotage of the Crimean Titan is quite logical. The subsequent zone of continuous chemical contamination will significantly impede the movement of our reserves from Crimea to the enemy's foothold. Moreover, considering the almost complete absence of NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical, protection means in the troops, chemical contamination of the area could also affect the combat readiness of our forces on the line of contact near the Dnieper.
In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers periodically attempt to regain their positions in the areas of Robotine and Verbove. There are also offensive actions near Kupiansk. However, over the day, the front line remains unchanged. Shelling continues along the entire front line. Additionally, the Russians are striking Nikopol from the side of Energodar. However, the occupied territory is not entirely calm either. There were reports of explosions in Berdyansk yesterday, but whether they were a result of shelling is not yet specified. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers continue their attacks in the Staromayorsky area. Although they don't achieve success, the offensive actions persist. Shelling also continues along the entire front line. There are no changes over the day, and the Ukrainian forces manage to maintain their defense. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers persist in their assaults despite the weather conditions. Intense battles are taking place in the industrial zone, where they are trying to fully capture their territory to advance further into the city. There is approximately 700 meters remaining to the city. In the quarry area, the occupiers also continue their offensive actions, attempting to get as close as possible to the city and the coking plant. Attacks near the plant don't cease either. Although there are no changes in the front line over the day, the situation remains extremely challenging. Offensive actions are ongoing in the Novobakhmutivka area as well. The occupiers aim to expand their controlled territory to reach water obstacles and create more challenging conditions for the Ukrainian forces in Avdiivka. Therefore, the occupiers want to advance from Perpetual to Horlivka. Battles persist in this area, and the Ukrainian forces repel all attacks regardless of the Russians' plans. Additionally, the road from Occupiers to Horlivka leading to Avdiivka is cut off. Fighting continues in the Novobakhmutivka village area. There are no changes in the front line over the day, and the situation is described as complex but controlled, as confirmed by Zaluzhny, who stated that everything is difficult but under control.
For the first time, I took part in a meeting of the contact group on defense of Ukraine within the framework of the Ramstein format. I informed our partners in detail about the situation on the battlefield. He noted that the situation at the front is complicated, but under control. The armed forces of Ukraine continue to conduct defensive and offensive operations. He reported on the actions of the Russians, threats, and their likely plans for the near future.
In the Horlivka direction, the situation remains unchanged for now. There are sporadic clashes and shelling reported, but there are no significant storming operations with a large amount of equipment and live forces. In the Bakhmut direction, battles near Klashivka continue. Despite the difficulties, the Ukrainian forces managed to maintain the front line without changes. No new attacks are reported along the front line, but challenge persists. In the areas of Kreminna and Siversk, the occupiers are attempting to advance near Verkhnyo-Kamensk and periodically launch attacks in the forests near Kreminna. However, they haven't achieved any success, and the front line remains unchanged. In the direction of Svatove, there is a suspicious calm. The occupiers tried to advance in various directions, but without success. They have shifted to a defensive stance, and even the level of shelling is minimal in this area. In the Kupiansk direction, battles are ongoing, with current engagements reported in the Avdiivka and Perpetual areas. There have been no new successes for the Russians, but the situation remains challenging. In the Ivanivsky area, despite previous significant attacks, only shelling is currently observed without active assaults. Ukrainian analysts report a significant regrouping in this direction, anticipating powerful new attacks in the near future. Putin mentioned that other world leaders were shocked by the Russian aggression in Ukraine. He shrugged indifferently, acknowledging the tragedy of combat actions. However, he asserted that Russia is ready to negotiate and blamed Ukraine for the ongoing situation. If Russia stops fighting, there will be no more war. If Ukraine stops fighting, there will be no more Ukraine.
В своих выступлениях говорили о том, что их потрясает агрессия, продолжающаяся агрессия России на Украине. Да, конечно, военные действия – это всегда трагедия конкретных людей, конкретных семей, да и страны в целом. И, безусловно, мы должны думать о том, как прекратить эту трагедию. Кстати говоря, Россия никогда не отказывалась от мирных переговоров с Украиной. Это не Россия, а Украина публично объявила о том, что она выходит из переговорного процесса. И более того, был подписан указ, декрет главы государства, запрещающий вести с Россией такие переговоры.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.